emphasis on your chapter 3 of your thesis, right? Chapter 3 of thesis, which deals with the your research design, which tells us about the sample size. This tells about the how you reached, how you validated the questionnaire, right? So most of the time, what I've experienced is like the examiners, they don't go into the details of the data analysis part. Why? Because that is done by the software. So the values are almost correct, but how you reached that particular software, that is more important. So that this facilitated, or this encouraged me to this start this session with for designing and interpreting pilot studies in research, because it's a very important part. There are a number of technical glitches or technical things which would come, and I would like all of you to participate. You can ask a number of questions here. You can unmute yourself, and yes, we will be having certain exercises also, because checking the reliability, checking the validity of a questionnaire or a scale, it's again very, very, very important. So pilot study generally is from where and how I should start my research. Because as a research scholar, when you join any research, when you are at a very initial stage, and you're thinking, okay, what should be my topic? What should be my area of research? Or on what particular title should I browse? So the answer is very simple. Conduct a pilot study, you will get all your answers, right? So pilot study, it's a sort of rehearsal, it's a sort of very a preliminary study with a very limited sample size before actually when we go for a actual study, right? So the learning outcomes for this session would be, we'll see what is the importance of pilot study. We'll go for pre-testing the questionnaire, and then reliability, validity, descriptive analysis I'll tell, and exploratory if possible I'll tell. Otherwise, reporting the results, that would be the main important, right? So what we do when we have a research problem, we think over it, we try to solve that problem. We generally speak to the people. We generally, try to find answers within ourselves, and we search the literature also. So for solving a problem, whether the problem generally exists or not, whether the problem is feasible, or whether it's a researchable problem or not, we conduct a short study. Whenever we all are into the academics field, right? Whenever we have some function in our college or some event in our organization, we do some rehearsal before, a day or 2 days before, right? So in the same way, before actually conducting the pilot study, we conduct before actually conducting the actual study with number of respondents, we go for a very short study, that is the pilot study. So what is a pilot survey? It's a mini survey, or it's a rehearsal, or it's a preliminary study where a researcher sends out a questionnaire, or whatever you want to ask or whatever you want to explore, to a smaller sample size compared to the actual target audience, right? We collect the information from that sample. That sample is a convenient sampling, and we can predict what is the response pattern of the participants, and we can make any required number of changes to the research. So there are a number of advantages of the pilot study. First of all, it helps us to sharpen the focus of a study, because during pilot study, now when my students or when my scholars, they conduct a pilot study, we get to know a number of inputs, right? We get to know, okay, this question is the repetitive, right? This is a double barreled question. This is asking 2 or 3 things simultaneously. Let's say if somebody is asking, okay, this topic is interesting and suits me, right? So interesting and suits me, both are two different things which cannot be taken simultaneously. So in that way, it helps you sharpen the focus, like to go into a particular direction. It gives a direction to the study, whether the study is feasible or not, right? It checks the feasibility, because again, pilot study when you are getting some weird responses, when you are not, people are not filling up the form, when people are not you know uh, and people are not, they are responding properly, that means it's going to create a problem further also. So that way it helps us to check the feasibility. It improves the design of the survey also, right? And again, it we because see, actually what happens, suppose without conducting a pilot study, you started conducting an actual study, then you have number of responses, then you have, you have spent so much time and money on your survey, but then what happened? Like, your results were not up to the mark, your hypotheses were not up to the mark, so results didn't turn up. So that means you have wasted your enough time and money, as well as, the logistics on inadequately designed surveys. So again, this pilot study is going to tell you, yes, now, this is feasible, this research is feasible or not. And again, questions, whatever questions you ask, accordingly only you will get the responses, right? So questions which you were testing, at least are you giving you the appropriate answers, are they measuring what you exactly want to measure? So this is what is the purpose of your pilot study, and it helps to develop the research skills of those taking part. See, it's very, very, very important. Pilot study is very important, right? Reason being, because in pilot study only we tend to see whether, we will be able to uh, get the right responses or not, whether our questions are up to the mark or not, right? So once the pilot study may you have tested the reliability and validity of the meeting of this questionnaire, then it becomes very easy for you to go proceed and go ahead, right? So always conduct a pilot study, because it's very, very, very important part. So now again, it's again very important, questionnaire validation process. So we will see it. It is, it comprises of two parts. One is your pre-testing, another is your pilot testing. It's very important, students, please pay attention. We'll have a small exercise also after this, right? So pre-testing may what we do, it's before the pilot testing, right? Let's say you have made a questionnaire, and then what you will do is you will uh, go to the respondents based on you will go to the industry experts or academicians, and you will get it pre-tested of your pre-testing of your questionnaire, right? So in pre-testing, what we check is face validity. Now what is this face validity? Face validity means, does the content of the questionnaire appear to be suitable? Like, see, you have the questionnaire with 20, 30, 50 questions with you, along with the constructs, or let's say variables, but whether the content of the questionnaire appears feasible, like let's say your uh, idea is to, or your objective is to measure the customer satisfaction, but on the face only you can see, yes, it has got questions on the customer satisfaction. Yes, that means we are going in the right direction. Fine. Face validity means, just by looking at the interface, by looking at the design, by looking at the, like, yes, it, the questionnaire appears to be measuring the constructs. So that is known as your face validity. Next is your content validity. Means, is the test fully representative of what it is supposed to measure? Let's say you are measuring ease of use of ease of use means how easy is a particular technology to use, and then in content you will check whether you have got certain questions based on ease of use, or it's not measuring something else, let's say satisfaction or loyalty. No. So content validity says that your content should measure whatever are the constructs which are being underlined, right? Face validity, by looking at the face, by looking at the questionnaire, you can measure, right, this is the questionnaire is right and it is measuring what it is supposed to measure. And content means whether the content which you have written, that is okay or not. And next is the criterion validity. Means how accurately a test measures the outcome it was designed to measure, right? Now, how accurately it measures the test because suppose, let's say you have taken a standardized questionnaire, right? Let's say you have taken the standardized questionnaire from some uh, already, has been already validated from your area of your research, and whether, and let's say you add a few questions, you add one, two, three, four questions, right? But whether those four questions they are meeting the criteria or not, this is known as your criterion validity. We generally add questions related to our uh, field of research. So whether this your this part, like whether the questions which you have added, are they meeting the criteria or not, that is your criterion validity. Is that clear? Is because these are little things which are being a little bit technical. So is that clear? Shall I proceed? Please unmute yourself and speak. Okay, Rupali say
Excuse
criterion validity. Yes, criterion validity, Rupali, is like, okay, I'll repeat everything again, right? So, what is face validity? Face validity is just by looking at the questionnaire. Yes, by looking at the questionnaire, you can see whether this questionnaire is up to the mark or not, right? Whether it is measuring, let's say you have, written the title, right? Designing a model to, measure the customer satisfaction with respect to telemedicine or telehealth, right? So whether it has questions on telehealth or telemedicine, that is your face validity. Now, under telemedicine, you are measuring that construct ease of use, right? That telemedicine is easy to use, it is easy to understand. So whether uh, inside your questionnaire there are certain questions which are measuring ease of use or easy to understand, that is your content validity. Now, third is criterion validity, means you have taken a standardized questionnaire of, let's say, Venkatesh et al or Davis et al, whatever, and then, but you have added certain scale items of your own, you have modified it, right, as related to your domain. So now, whether the questions which you have added, are you able to relate those questions with the theme or not, that is your criteria, means whether they fit that criteria or not, right? Is that clear now, or shall I proceed? Please unmute yourself. Is that clear? Okay, so I'll proceed now. See, this is just an example to make it more clear. I'd request all of you to read it. Sustainable development with respect to healthcare. So, sustainable development is what? It is defined as meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs, right? So, when we speak of sustainable development, we generally speak of three pillars: environment, society, and economy. They are the three pillars of sustainable development, and all these three pillars need to be well adjusted. Now, again, in order to balance these three components of sustainability, all natural and human resources should be placed and regulated properly so that we can end up into the profits. Now, for measuring this construct, sustainable development, I have two scales with me, right? Scale 1 and scale 2. Scale 1 comprises of three items, and scale 2 also has three items. So I'd request all of you to please read these items. So just go through these items. I hope the screen is visible to you all.
now the presentation is not visible, ma'am.
Now, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So we have two scales, scale 1 and scale 2, right? So both these scales are measuring the sustainable development. So I just request you to, I'll give you 2 minutes, just read these two scales, scale 1 and scale 2. Yes. I think you must have read the scale 1 and scale 2. Now, now please tell me. Yes. So now, please tell me which of these two scales is better, and how many marks you will give to scale 1 and how many marks you will give to scale 2 with respect to face and content validity. Yes. Because we have seen the face validity and we have seen the content validity. Now, with respect to face validity and content validity, first one is better. How many of you say first one is better? Okay, Rupali was the one. How many of you would say first one is better? Please put in chat. First one, yes. Rashmi is also saying first one. Who else would say first one? Okay, everybody is saying first one, right? Anybody who is in the favor of second one? Anyone among you who is in the favor of second one? No one. Okay, fine. Chalo. See, now my concern was, please read this line: environment, society, and economy. They are the three pillars of sustainable development. Is that correct? Right? So once we go to scale 1 and scale 2, scale 1 has more items related to the, no, item 1 is saying what? My hospital follows procedures that help in reducing carbon emissions, right? Second is reduction in solid waste. Third is amount of energy used. Means it is measuring more of your items related to environment. But what about the, this society and economy? It's not measuring society and economy, no. So now you just read the scale 2. My hospital follows adequate waste reduction procedure. That is your something related to the your economics. Uh, sorry, environment. Then my hospital is concerned about patients and doctor satisfaction. That is something related to your social part or society. And third is healthcare innovation system used in my hospital leads to economic development. So do you think scale 2 is measuring all these three pillars: environment, society, and economy? Yes. Yes, Rupali. Please unmute. Don't you think that's Rupali and Ramesh ji? Yes, scale 2 is measuring all the three constructs now, right? So, yes. So now you got the concept. See, writing big sentences in your questionnaire, or, writing long, because making it, more elaborate won't work until and unless it has got the face and content validity, which is shown here. My hospital follows adequate C. First one, it's covering all the three pillars, right? Environment, society, and economy. So the scale 2 is better, not the scale 1. I hope the concept is a little bit better now. Build up. Shall I proceed ahead? Shall I proceed with another example? Shall I proceed with some other example? Please unmute yourself and see if there is some problem. I can repeat it again. Otherwise, I'll proceed. Yes, one more example. Right now, one more example is this one. See, there is one construct called information quality. So information quality means when you provide explicit pertinent and adequate information exchange between the practitioners and patients, right? So here also, again, I have put two scales. First scale is,
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you present it in a slideshow mode, ma'am?
sorry, it's a
Can
slideshow.
you? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So here again, we have two scales. Scale one is staff responsibilities under telehealth system are formally established. Telehealth means when you speak to doctor under remote conditions, right? So staff is capable of understanding different patient needs. It's capable of information management system for providing data analytics, and medical services being provided through telehealth are very efficient, right? So construct or the variable here is information quality, which says that providing explicit, pertinent, and adequate information exchange between the practitioners and patients. And simultaneously, there is another scale too, which says that telehealth system can provide information about patient symptoms, it can provide information about disease prevention, and it can provide information on first aid parameters. So now, again, over to you. Which one is better? Which one is measuring your information quality? Yes, yes, please. Which one is measuring information quality? First one or second one? Okay. Ramesh sir is saying first one. Any other response? Anyone else who would like to contribute? Jyoti Kiran, yeah, right, first one. Okay. Anyone else who would like to contribute? See, the construct is information quality, right? Just read the definition of information quality. Providing explicit, pertinent, and adequate information exchange between the practitioners and patients. Here again also scale 2 is better because it is measuring the information. First time it's measuring the information about the patient symptoms. Second, it's providing information about the disease prevention. Third is it's providing information about the first aid parameters. Whereas the scale 1, where at first time it is saying about establishment. Second is okay. Third is still okay. Fourth is efficient. We are not measuring the efficiency, no. We are just measuring the quality of the information which your telehealth system is going to provide. So again, scale 2 is better. Yes. I hope now it's clear. Shall I proceed? Okay. Now, I'll start with questionnaire validation process. So questionnaire validation process, it comprises of two steps, pre-testing and pilot study, right? So pre-testing may phase, content, and criterion we have already studied. Construct validity, I'll tell you right now. And pilot study, it comprises of descriptive statistics, reliability, and little bit of exploratory factor analysis. Exploratory factor analysis means we just, you won't be able to extract the factors because the sample size is quite less. But what we see in exploratory factor analysis is your this thing, sampling adequacy. KMO and Bartlett test of sphericity is something which we check in your pilot study, right? So I was left with, I've already explained phase, content, and criterion, and now I'll explain construct validity, right? So construct validity means it is the totality of evidence whether a particular construct represents what is intended by the theoretical account. Means, in simple language, just forget about the definition part. It's very heavy definition. Construct validity says, let's say you have a variable customer satisfaction. So whether all the four or 5 items of your customer satisfaction, do they measure, do they validate the variable this customer satisfaction? We have, let's say, another construct, let's say service quality of let's say any this any hotel, right? So you have written 5 to 10 items measuring the service quality of any hotel, but whether those 10 items together they validate this construct. So this is your construct validity. Means totality of evidence, totality of all the items, scale items which measure a particular variable. So whether they intend or whether they measure the construct or not, that is your construct validity. There are two approaches, convergent and divergent, which I'll explain later in this presentation. Now, the important part is your reliability and validity. So, can anyone explain me what is the difference between reliability and validity? Can anyone tell me what is the difference between reliability and validity? You can unmute yourself, please, and speak out. No one? Okay, fine. Um, yes. What is the difference between reliability and validity? Any answer from your side? Okay. Um, I'll explain then. Now, reliability is, consistency of the measure. Let's say you have designed a questionnaire for your research and you're getting certain results. Let's say if you are again using that questionnaire, reliable means trust, right? So if you are again using that construct, let's say after 10 years or 15 years, so it's going to give you the consistent results, right? So that is the reliability. And validity means whether it is measuring what it is exactly it is supposed to measure. Let's say uh, you want to measure customer satisfaction, and you want to measure the customer satisfaction, but whether the constructs which you have taken, are they measuring your construct customer satisfaction, are they not measuring something else? Let's say you want to measure this thing, satisfaction from operation theaters, right? So whether whatever the items you have written, are they measuring, are they able to justify the construct, uh, this satisfaction from operation theaters? So this is what is the difference between the reliability and validity. So reliability refers to the precision of the measurement, means it tells you about the accuracy of the measurement. A test demonstrates reliability when it shows that they are, items, they have the scale items or the questions, they are measuring a particular construct or a variable. And reproducibility, that means that consistency across the times, right? Suppose again you are measuring, let's say you're using your instrument again after, let's say, 5 years, 4 years, and it is going to give you the consistent results. So reliability is usually measured as a correlation coefficient which ranges from 1 to -1. And validity is, again, I've already explained, uh, the estimated value, whether it is matches the true value or the extent to which whatever you have written, whether it is measuring that or not, right? So poor validity at times is the result of the systematic error. Now, uh, this is one example. It was the measurement of height of the study of participants with their shoes on the feet, right? So now when you are measuring the height of the students of your, let's say, institution with shoes. So with shoes, it is giving you some result, right? It is giving you some results, but it is giving you values which is even higher than the actual weight. So that means it is not reliable. It is not exact data, but it is valid because it is supposed to measure the height. It is measuring that, right? Again, a very simple example is, you can see these three circles, where in one circle we can say the all the shots are at a particular point. That means it is reliable, it's giving the results, right? But it is not at the center point, me indicating that it's not valid. Similarly, assessment second one is valid. Why? Because it is giving you scattered results. It is giving you scattered results, but it is not reliable because it is not giving you consistent results. Somewhere the bullet is hit at one point, sometimes another point, sometimes at fourth point or fifth point. Whereas a third circle says it is valid as well as reliable. So an assessment which is reliable but not valid, it misses the point, right? So is that clear? Is that clear? You can unmute yourself and ask the questions. No issues at all. Shall I proceed? Okay. Shall I proceed? I just got one response, right? Yeah, fine. Thank you. I'll proceed. No issue. So types of reliability, it is first is inter-rater reliability. Inter-rater reliability is also known as here. It is the consistency between two or more independent raters. Let's say you have made a questionnaire, and then uh, again, inter-rater means like you give your questionnaire to one or two independent raters and the same questionnaire, and then you compare their results, right? So the percentage of agreement between the raters is leads to inter-rater reliability. Means two people validating your questionnaire simultaneously, that is inter-rater reliability, because then you are comparing their results. Test retest means that, again, here it was two independent raters, right, or observers of the same construct. Here it is again two tests of the same construct administered to the same sample at two different points, right? Means like two measurements. You divide that this question into two parts, and again you compare the results from two different samples taken at two different particular points. Split half is you divide the questionnaire into two, and then you randomly split those items, and then you calculate, give it to the sample of respondents, and finally then you compare their results. Split half in one line, these three are very simple. Yes, somebody wants to ask something?
No, ma'am. It's by mistake, ma'am. You can
Okay.
continue, ma'am.
Yeah. See, these are very simple. Inter-rater means inter-observer. That means like two or more independent raters rating the same construct, right? In second is test retest means one construct given to the same sample at two different points of time and then comparing their results, right? But first we have done the test, then we have done the retest, right? Split half means dividing the questionnaire into two parts and then comparing their results. So again, the method which is used for this reliability is Cronbach alpha, and this is the formula, because Cronbach alpha vary, it takes the correlation values, and Cronbach alpha, if the value is more than 9, that means shows that it is excellent. If it is ranges between 0.7 to 0.9, that means it is good. Then 0.6 to 0.7, that means it is acceptable. 0.5 to 6 is poor, and 0.5 is unacceptable. right? So whenever the students come to me for checking the reliability, generally we run this test on the SPSS and we get the values, right? And then again, if you wish, I can show you. Let's see, I can show you this thing. I have one sample. Uh, Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can ask me out. By the time I open the data set and all that, if you have any questions, you can please ask the questions. Yes. See, let's say if this is the data set I have, I hope this data set is visible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So what I'll go do is I'll go to analyze, I'll go to scale, I'll say reliability analysis. So here GAM is gamification, right? So I'll put here, I'll take these items over here, I'll go to statistics, and in statistics, I'll click on scale if item deleted, right? This is very important. So I'll say continue and I'll say okay. So something came out with 7 items. So Cronbach alpha is 0.885. That means it is good. The internal consistency is good because it is lying between zero point 0.7 and zero point 0.8. And this item to total statistics table is very important, right? Suppose at times we get very less Cronbach alpha values. So when we get less Cronbach alpha values, we generally, say, like, let's say we delete any item, right? This table shows that when we delete any item, what would be the Cronbach alpha value. Let's say if I delete gamification 1, GM1, then my Cronbach alpha would be 0.874. If I delete gamification 5, GM5, then my Cronbach alpha would be 0.863. So what is maximum here coming up is 0.877, which is even less than what I am getting here. So let's say if I want to get 0.877, what I'll go is I'll again go to my SPSS sheet and I'll go to analyze, then I'll go to scale, then I go to reliability, and I'll just remove this gamification 7 and I'll say okay, and it will come like 0.877, right? So earlier it was 0.885. Now it is, see, earlier it was 0.885, right? And now it is 0.887. So that means, what the game, underlying game is, Cronbach alpha is just the correlation, nothing else, right? So the correlation has to be good. In case this Cronbach alpha value is less than 5, then again, let's say values less than 5, then it will give you the suggestion. If you'll remove item XYZ, then your Cronbach alpha will improve. So this is how we calculate a Cronbach alpha from your this thing from by using SPSS. So is that clear? Shall I proceed ahead? Any questions? Any questions? Okay. So I'll no questions, right? Correct. Now, validity is something which I've already explained. So I think I should skip this part. Content validity also I have explained. Uh, Face validity is very closely related. This is something which I have explained initially with the help of example. So I think we should skip this. Now, important is this convergent principle. What does this say? Because when I was talking about the construct validity, I said it's of two parts. It's convergent and divergent. So what is the convergent principle? Convergent says that measure of the constructs that are related to each other should be strongly correlated, right? Now, let's say how we do this. We compare the observed value of one indicator of one construct with that of other indicators of same construct. I'll explain it with the help of example. So you just forget about the definition, try to understand the concept. This is what I can request. Now, let's say how it works. Let's say perceived ease of use is one construct. Perceived ease of use says how easy is a technology to use, right? How easy is a particular technology to use? Let's say perceived ease of use has got four items, item 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So we theorize that items, these are the item, another construct related is the perceived usefulness, because I'm taking technology adoption model, TAM here. So we theorize that perceived usefulness, it has got another four items. So now, ease of use, these are the correlations. You can see the values of just below 1, right? 1 means correlation of 1 to 1 is 1, right? Let's say if I want to ask you what is the correlation of your hand with your body, that is 1 because it is strongly correlated, right? So that means here you just see the values which are down. Purposely I've said written these values a bit high, right? 0.83, 0.89, 0.85, they are high. That means the observation is these correlations provide the evidence that these items converge or they make a particular construct that is ease of use, right? Similarly, this this was your convergent validity, means four items of ease of use, they converge to make a construct ease of use, and four items may be converging to make the construct ease of perceived usefulness, right? So now, uh, now what is discriminant principle? Discriminant principle says that, again, two constructs should be different from each other, right? Let's say there are two constructs, let's say customer satisfaction and customer loyalty, they must be different from each other, right? So measures of different constructs should not correlate highly with each other. Previously I was asked talking about the items, right? So ease of use has got four items, so they should be highly correlated, but whereas the ease of use and usefulness, there should be discriminant, means they should be different. Now how it works, theory says that we have two constructs, ease of use. Ease of use is how easy is to use a technology, and usefulness says that this particular technology increases my performance, right? So now these are the correlations now. So ease of use, you can see correlation of ease of use with usefulness is less, 0.12, 0.9, 0.4, 0.2, means these are different from each other's. Means the items of these two, they are different. The ease of use is not related to usefulness, but ease of use and ease of use 1 and 2, they are related to each other. Putting it all together, we'll say, now this will help you to clearly understand. Let's say ease of use and usefulness, these are two constructs, right? The green and red correlations, let's say green, just read the values of green correlations and red, you can see these are very high, right? So that means these items are similar, these items are convergent. But again, if you see the correlation between ease of use and usefulness, they are low. Items in black, they have got very low correlation. That means they are different from each other, right? So this was the theory which says that convergent and discriminant. right? Two constructs, two variables should be different, but items of one construct, they should have high correlations, right? So this is therefore representing the construct validity. Here also again, you can see it very, they are KL1, KL2, KL3 is one factor, whereas PF1, PF2, PF3 is another factor. So you can see the relationships, right? They have got less correlations, and these items have got almost similar loadings, indicating the convergent validity. And cross factor loadings means different loadings, that means discriminant validity. This is something which we have already discussed. Yes. So now I'll go back again to you people. I'll come back again to you. And any problem, anything you want me to ask, anything you want me to explain once again? Any question? Please unmute yourself and you can ask the question in the chat box also. Once you'll say it's okay, then I'll proceed ahead. Anji, Madhuri, Jyoti, Ramesh ji, any question? Rupali, any question? Proceed. Okay. Is that clear? I mean, like whatever language and everything is clear. Are you getting it? Because we may have some exercise at the end, right? Okay.
Excuse me.
Ramesh sir is saying proceed. I'll have to proceed now. Now, so pilot testing concerns, they are very important. First is, the sample size, right? The sample size has to be the 10% of actual sample size. So what should
Urvashi, ma'am. Dear participants, ma'am will join us soon. She has some network disturbances. She'll join us soon. We are very sorry for the inconvenience. Thank you all. Dear participants, ma'am will join us soon. She has some network disturbances. We are very sorry for the inconvenience caused today. Thank you all.
Hello, yeah, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. So I just received a call. I think I've finished my PPT. Which slides were not visible? If I would like to,
Ma'am, you were in pilot testing concerns, ma'am.
okay, I'll share. Yeah,
Yes.
I just finished the thing and
Sample size, you were in pilot testing concern sample size, ma'am.
okay, okay. This I was on the last slide. I was just reading it out. Okay, 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 okay. This this thing I've discussed.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, this one. This one I've discussed. No.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So again, pilot study concerns. Only two, three slides are left now. So the concern is, at times there is a possibility of making inaccurate predictions because the results are not up to the mark, and completing a pilot study successfully doesn't guarantee the success of full scale survey. So what is important is uh, concern. Major concern when examiner comes and take the final vibe of the candidates, whether you have included the results of the pilot, whether you have included the those data of the pilot study in your questionnaire. Please don't include it, right? And always say no, the pilot study data was not included in the final data set, because again, some and we had you collected a new data set from the for the main study. Pilot testing data, in case you have included, then again you need to send the fresh questionnaire to the people. So don't include pilot test study data in your main results. It's going to create a very higher bias. है ना? Then this is the reporting the results. When we report the results, we generally this is the screenshots of one of my student. So here it is step one, where the preliminary draft of the questionnaire, it is was discussed with few doctors. He was doing the research on the telehealth and telemedicine. So again, then first step was when the preliminary draft was given to the experts. Then a few scale items were modified and simplified. Then finally, the suggestions from the experts, they helped us to reframe the questions, and the suggestions were taken into account. Few items were removed, added, or something like that. The suggestions provided by this cohort were included in the questionnaire, and the important is the amended questionnaire was again sent back to the same group to verify the results. And after that, we reported the results. After getting their approval, the pilot study testing was done with number of doctors and patients. And again, this sample is a convenience sample for the pilot study, and Cronbach alpha values were given, which is more than zero point 0.7. So this is how we report the results also. And so generally, pilot studies, why I took this session, because I felt the need, it's very important to go for the pilot study, because pilot studies, they are under discussed, they're underused, and at times underreported. So this is not good, right? So we at least in people who are doing the research in sciences or in medical sciences, pilot studies or pilot surveys do make an impact. So again, a very humble request to all of you is, lay adequate focus on your pilot studies, report the results genuinely, and you will, once you'll focus on your pilot studies, you will be able to you'll be able to counter, or you will be able to foresee what problems you are going to face and how to you know remove those problems. That also you will be able to help it out, right? So this was about this session of pilot studies. So thanks a lot for being with me. uh, I know there were some technical glitches. Maybe I lost my connection in between, or I don't know, like whether I was visible or not. So again, any over to you, and I'm open for QA.